Hi Aquarius, my name is Luciani. I'll be doing a July tarot reading for you. Thank you guys so much for coming to this channel. If you're returning, welcome back. I appreciate the support. I hope everything resonates with you and it just serves a pure intention and purpose. This is for your Aquarius Sun, Moon, and Rising. If you have Mars and Venus in Aquarius, this is also applicable. And anywhere that you just feel the message in the spirit body. If you don't know those planet placements I mentioned, you can click a link below. It's called Cafe Astrology. And you can find your birth chart information there. And it includes those placements and learn more about it. So let's get right into your reading, guys. We already have some messages coming through. So, thank you, Spirit. All right, yes. Please give me messages for the zodiac of Aquarius, July 2019. Other messages that you have for Aquarius, Spirit. All right, so I see a couple of messages. So take what resonates. One big one I see is that you're really contemplating an end of some sort of completion that has to take place, and it's like the advisable thing to do, whether it's finally finding out the karmic lesson in a situation, finally traveling, changing destinations, finally ending something that you've gained a lot of experiences, but it was more on a karmic lesson end with Saturn based here. With the World card, also fixed sign energy, things that we really have to complete, some stubbornness that we have to overcome, and really like look at things from a worldly perspective, because there's a lot of changes that are going on in your life in the month of July. Some of you could definitely well be in an ambivalent stage where there's these transitionings that are occurring that you may not be comfortable with because it's so new, and you're trying to learn more about it through the spirit realm or through something that you just kind of like change your perception on things. There's a change of perception here, but you didn't want to do it. It was something that was literally forced out from something more universal out of you to learn something more about yourself. And it's like that blocked energy here with the Two of Swords. It's kind of like we don't want the lesson, or this is someone who you could feel like in your life that needs to be blocked out, but we're learning more about how to go about the ending of this. I definitely see like a goal being blocked. Some of your goals realized are having some sort of like something's displeasing, and we're looking at from the things that are spilled over, when a new perspective is like the new offer here, and it's a change of way of like balancing, but of how you go about balancing yourself. But it actually, interestingly enough, turns you into this like creative, self-sufficient, more independently capable, knowing your worth, knowing how to sow seeds with like this tender love and care for it. There's this balance of emotional and intellectual, like it's this parallel between the two here. And again, with the swords here in the reverse, the page of swords here in the reverse, it's like someone is like having a temper tantrum because of these changes. They don't, it's like, so, I think it's just so different that it's like, I can't like really comprehend it. I don't think it's comprehension. It's more, I don't want to go about it this way because it's totally not what I'm used to. And some of you guys could be coming out of relationships in the month of July, and it just could have just been due to the fact that someone just it's a gamble on them. You might feel like they're a gamble, or they just have really terrible spending habits to the point where it's affecting the relationship, or just overly, just not really going about money and investments and the integrity, with integrity or with character. It's kind of like they have that tactfulness attached to how they go about their finances, and it's just very displeasing. And it's just like you're learning more about that behavior within them, and it's like at the end you just kind of like end it anyway, because you just start going into your spirit body, suspending, taking that pause, and really just ascertaining that inner wisdom to see what's like really not feeling like it's emotionally fulfilling. And it could have been the stability behind it. Like it's like was your focus on in the feeling, and is a stability home, is a safe refuge, something that is foundational, and someone is too risky with your creations. And it just feels like the union is weak. Someone has a gambling problem. Someone definitely has to control gambling, because that could have had you guys digging out of a hole, and you probably could have gotten another position, some sort of new opportunity that presents itself, that in order for you to proceed with it, it seems like you have to leave some sort of perception behind, or a relationship behind, some sort of career, whatever the case is here, because it just seems like you guys' main focus is really balancing yourself, literally wanting to be on your own. I do feel like this is also an energy where someone physically lost someone, and they're looking to gain their self-sufficiency, their love for themselves and again, I see the pain here, obviously, and with that, it just feel like spirit is saying, take your time, take all the time you need to process the things that you may want to process, whether just allowing yourself to just be for the moment, or even traveling. Also, I feel like I see also soul traveling here, just to kind of process things. Some of you guys could be going on retreats and meditation ceremonies and trying ayahuasca. Did I say that right? Ayahuasca, excuse me. DMT. I just feel like you guys are looking to expand out of the perceptions and thoughts and the things that really feel like we can't comprehend on an emotional body, and that really just feel like we're just feeling in a very depressive state. Others of you guys, it's just really, you're in that space where you just like, I'm ready to be single, and I have to like figure out how to make my escape route. So let's clarify these here for Aquarius spirit. You could be talking to a Leo. This could involve a Leo or a manager, a father figure of some sort, or a mother figure, a Libra, or another air sign. Wow. Jeez. So a stability was broken. a stability, because we have the Four of Wands clarifying the Four of Wands in the reverse. So yeah, something that felt stable totally went upside down, belly up. And it's this heavy ass burden on us on what to do. We just feel so blocked. It's like what to do. And it's slow moving, but in the interim, it do feel like you're just gonna take this time to just be in your inner wisdom, your inner peace, finding, yeah, you have angels looking over you, Aquariuses. If you're going through something traumatic, you really are being watched over at this particular time also. You guys could be moving away from a family or from a lover that it's just not satisfying. Or someone had to just really change locations, or just kind of, they're just looking to walk away from all of the things that we processed and had to go through, which was difficult or mentally difficult. I see a leaving behind a way of thinking, and it's really hard to move on from things that no longer serve us, whether it's a perception we have about something, whether it's okay, let me use an example. 20 years old me and the perception I had, even though I thought I was super intelligent, was going to school, blah, blah, blah. And now I'm 32 and I feel like I know nothing, but I feel like this is the space where I feel like I've learned the most. So it's kind of like that opening up your world. It just feel like your world is being opening up right now, Aquarius. And it doesn't feel comfortable. It feels like you're going through a very authentic time that it's like blocked energy, and you feel burdened, and it's really, the blocked energy really honestly feels like it's coming from a space where we're unyielding. We're not allowing ourselves to kind of learn these changes that are occurring, allowing ourselves to like really, with 8 here with numerology, that is against Saturn energy, but this is an energy where someone's learning about something, learning about themselves, learning about a trade. Some of you guys could go back to school and really don't want to do that, but you're like maybe feeling like you might have to. And again, it's like, oh, I don't want to go, I don't want to do that. Or you're maybe tired of being the teacher all the time, just because the people who we have to manage aren't moldable. They're just not moldable, and it could be such a burden on us. And we're slowly but surely looking to kind of come out of that and really just go into this space of balance. I do see like this balance, but like your balance, like what your stability isn't you. I feel like there's an identity crisis here also here. And we're starting to learn authentically who we are. And we have to be a little bit more moldable in our in how we view others and view, yeah. So there's definitely a big awakening you're having in July. But it is like something totally, like it changes your identity about yourself. It's pretty decent actually. It's just uncomfortable. And it's just like in this time space where I feel like it's slow moving, with these messages that could be being transposed, or someone traveling to you in a very slow manner, but they're slowly but surely giving you the keys to come outside of these these perceptions and opening up your world. It could be a lover. It could be someone that you're essentially with, where they're again opening up your whole entire world. They're like, I feel like they're giving you information that it's just like so different from what you possibly could have learned and ascertained and used it as your identifier of our life or what we perceive ourselves as. And it's so what's the word I'm looking for? It's so hard. Not hard, it just feels like it just feels like it's unresting energy. It feels like whatever they teach, in your spirit, it's just like, ugh, something of that nature. And that has maybe a lot to do with the fact that we have to just open up our heart. We have to be a little bit more open to this because it's a learning experience. That's for some Aquariuses. Other Aquariuses, I definitely see an energy where you're learning how to manage your passions and how to really turn up the ambitions on them. Anything that just feels like it's too serious, or being around people who are just being very presumptuous, someone who's extremely prideful, even playboy energy, like just someone who just plays around with your heart and spirit. You're just like, no, I don't have time for that. And slowly but surely, you're gonna, in this month of July, you're gonna start changing your perception on this person. It just seems like the unrestful energy, like you really can't go into meditation and relax around them because of their opposing energy. It's always like this unyielding, strict, and severe as type of energy, and you're just learning more and more about it. And to the point where, again, what I'm saying is that you don't want to move forward with it. You really actually, it's like, I don't want to cut ties from it. It's just suffering. It's creating sadness. Someone doesn't know how to properly communicate at all, and it brings such a suffering. And it's like this indecision making I do see here. Like something feels like a really heavy burden, and it's just like you might be in this space of, how do I cut this out, or how do I proceed? How do I communicate with them where this is it's a struggle. It's a huge responsibility to keep taking accountability, and they don't. They act like a effing child when I speak to them. Like, how do I get out the situation? It's not emotionally fulfilling. I thought this was going to be stable. I felt like this was going to be stable, and it's actually not at all. And it's like in the smack dab in the reading, I feel like this is your energy. You're like coming in this space of, someone is a gambler too. I do feel heavy influence on gambling too. And you're like, let me make sure I hold my own money because I cannot with them. Like have my separate account because you're like balanced and you worked hard for what you got. And you like, I'm not gonna risk my finances because of someone else's frivolous spending. So, but for most of you guys, others of you guys, you're getting a blessing out of nowhere, and it is because you've either manifested it or you're just being blessed. You're being blessed, and maybe some of you guys are going on vacations with a lover in the month of July. Okay, that's what I felt. So my crystal came out as the shadow. You guys are going through shadow work. That makes perfect sense. So let me pull two more here. Healer, not surprised. Not surprised at all. Because you have this temperate, yes. Okay, so we have healthy boundaries. This is for the ones who, I feel like some, you guys are in relationships that someone cannot communicate properly. Others of you guys are in relationships with people who do not know how to spend, and they are really terrible with finances, and they don't feel solid. They don't feel like they feel like at any moment you can lose everything. And that's also here too. Or just anybody who just feels like a big ass burden. Someone who just has a lot of extreme severity in terms of their behavior. And we have animals here. You guys could be getting messages through animals. You guys could be animal lovers. And there's going to be messages there from spirit, from just your animals. Being around them actually is healing. Or you guys are veterinarians, or you're looking into creating some sort of pet school, like something really innovative. But what I'm seeing here, guys, is that regardless of anything that you're going through, you have to create healthy boundaries. I also see someone going through a painful transition right now, and it's a big burden for that transition. And for that, of course my heart goes out. It's just something that we all must go through. And the shadow here is just really bringing me to like this change of perceptions that are going on. Your world is being opened up without your permission, and it's shadow work is being conducted. You're being shown your very lowest self, and it's there to cultivate you into being a holistic healer. With the temperance, this is an alchemist. This is someone who performs alchemy, and you're being divinely guided into becoming a healer. But we have to experience the things that we just don't want to see. In terms of duality, I do see duality here with the Lovers. This is Gemini energy. So you're seeing both worlds here. You're being seen both sides of you. And it's not comfortable, but the cool part is creating this healthy boundary set for yourself. You're going to be able to cultivate yourself like none other, and be like the true healer that people see you as. And this is also energy where you could be possibly going to some sort of healer. Again, I see meditation retreats and all of this type of energy here where you're like really looking to experience that. I would say definitely look for animal totems. If you keep seeing like a centipede every day, like maybe look up the metaphysical message of that centipede, and it can actually really apply to something that be like an aha moment and be so profound in the month of July. So let's pull some sacred geometry oracles here for Aquarius, July 2019. All right. Wow. Communication. Someone has to really work on how they communicate. More spirit. Thank you. And we have conception. Oh, okay. So some of you guys may be pregnant, so congratulations. So with communication here, we have the frequency of communication supports our ability to exchange information in many different forms. It reminds us to run every piece of information, both incoming and outgoing, through our heart, through our center of our truth, and to stay in the flow of source and balance exchange. Yes, exactly. Like what you're going through is a process of holistic healing. And it just feels like it's on the mental and communicative and intellectual end here with the swords here. I feel like you're being called divinely into this divine duality stage, creating holistic in your being. And yes, it's uncomfortable, but it's bringing you into like a more wholesome person, you know, just walking with just the greatest of character and the greatest of integrity. And we have conception here. The frequency of conception invites us to bring our consciousness to our origin, the place where everything in creation begins. It helps us to remember the infinite potential and possibilities of this space and what we can manifest through our own focused awareness and intention. Wow, guys, I feel like you guys are in this. You're being called into some, like when you create now after you go through this, because it feels like you guys could be creators, passions, and there's just like this, like where's my career going, or where's my foundation going, or these creations that it just seems like you guys are in a process of being led to, your creations are going to be a little bit more consciousness. It's going to be a little bit more like, it's going to be bringing you like so many possibilities just through the intentions and focus awareness that you're going to now have. It's actually, you're going to be like flooded with so many different creative things that you're going to be birthing into the world just by how much you've learned through this process. It's really deep. I love it. I hope this resonates. I think that's it, guys. And you know, at the bottom of the deck, we have the Judgment. This is an awakening. This is a true awakening. It's very, very, it's leading you to nurture yourselves. Nurture yourselves knowing that your emotions are in fact important. Just, you're being led to something extremely authentic, guys. Okay, so thank you guys so much for coming to this channel. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.